Permit me to extend to you warm revolutionary greetings from the Revolutionary Vanguard Student Education Party.
Down, 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 concessional criminality down. Down, 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 exploitation on the mind down. Say you, I'll put that better than you. Say you. Action everything I say. Mr. Waka, old school Waka. Say you. La loi est là, il faut envoyer un carton pour Zayo.
At the State University of Liberia, fellow progressive journalists, members of the 55th National Legislature of the Republic of Liberia, we extend to you greetings from the Vanguard Student Education Party, Africa's most persistent, Africa's biggest political institution in the struggle for social justice, academic freedom, and peace. Today we have come in keeping with Article 17 of the 1986 Constitution of the Republic of Liberia to petition the National Legislature expressing our dissatisfaction on how the issue of justice, on how the issue of accountability has been handled since the emergence of Mr. Joseph Waka as President of the Republic of Liberia.
Down, 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 rescue mission down. Down, 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 go get mission down. Yo, the one-time rescue mission, the criminal mission, yo.
Fellow Liberians and fellow progressive journalists, since the emergence of Mr. Joseph Waka as President of the Republic of Liberia, the issue of accountability has become a taboo, and the National Legislature that has a responsibility to make the executive branch of government has done nothing to ensure that Mr. Joseph Waka is brought to book. Because this very legislature is also down here one of Mr. Waka, while at the same time, the heads of legislature are also in the pocket jar. That is why when Mr. Waka declared asset but refused to publish it, the legislature is not concerned because members of this very legislature have failed to declare an asset. Fellow Liberians, the United Party government of Mr. Joseph Waka campaigned on the basis of justice and accountability. But we're interested to know, since Mr. Waka took over, the issue of justice has been absent in the Republic. A few years ago, precisely in 2022, the militants of the Student Education Party was brutalized at the American Embassy. The four electors, Yeti Lama, Abba Peters, they were murdered. Princess Kobo, Emmanuel Kobo, several Liberians were brutally murdered under the Weir's government. When Mr. Waka was campaigning to the Liberian people, he promised justice, he promised to bring those who committed heinous crimes to book. But since Mr. Waka took over, Mr. Waka has done nothing to ensure that the militants of the Vanguard Student Education Party are given justice, as well as the parents of the four electors, the well-wishers of the four electors that were mysteriously killed under Mr. Joseph Waka.
Injustice everywhere, trying to justice,
Today, we have come to petition the National Legislature to take concrete action. Furthermore, we have understood that since the emergence of this legislature, they are yet to ratify or review our concession agreement. Our people continue to be exploited on the mines. A few days ago, this very legislature conspired with the people of Bear Mountain to have innocent people killed. Therefore, we have come to petition the legislature to ensure that all concession companies in the Republic live up to the Mineral Development Agreement. Anything other than that, the Vanguard Student Education Party will be left with no alternative but rather the masses of the Liberian people demand that telling you live up to the MDA to ensure that accident metal live up to the MDA. So fellow Liberians and fellow progressive journalists, I'm not an official spokesperson, but we want to express our dissatisfaction with the way the affairs of the state has been handled under the presidency of Mr. Waka. There has been no issue of accountability. The asset recovery team has failed miserably. The asset recovery team is yet to recover a single asset from the Liberian people. Therefore, I will reduce my height. Also in the Secretary General of the Vanguard Student Education Party, who has who has an authority in keeping with massacre protocols to introduce the chairman of the Revolutionary Vanguard Student Education Party. In conclusion, the legislature must remember that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice anywhere. Therefore, we want justice for our comrades who are brutalized and will not rest until justice prevails. Comrade SG are presenting to the masses of the Liberian people, members of the legislature, and professional journalists in the room.
Thereupon and therefore, I want to present to you the Baba Wataifa, the Field Marshal and Sheikh Khalif of Massacracy. If you like, the most powerful man within the perimeters and boundaries of the Republic of Liberia. And today we have come here in execution and implementation of a single task to protect and stand in defense of the fundamental interests of the masses of the Liberian people. We understand very well that there has been concerns across the landscape because of the consistency of the Unification Party against the WIA's arrogance, against the WIA's administrative barbarity, against the masses of the Liberian people. We say this to say that the Vanguard Party only has a permanent commitment with the interests of the people of the Republic of Liberia. In that light, we have come here once again, as we have always done, to come in defense of the masses of the Liberian people. This time around is to demand justice for the masses of the Liberian people who have been neglected for the singular fact that they do not have people represented within the administrative strata or in public services of the Republic of Liberia. We have also come, fellow Liberians and fellow comrades, to defend the fundamental interests of the masses of the Liberian people in the minds of the Republic of Liberia. They are experiencing wanton capitalistic exploitation at the disservice of people who pretend to be in their interests and people who pretend to seek their fundamental welfare and fundamental well-being. The Vanguard Party, as the policeman in defense of the interests of the people, we've come again. In so doing, I present you the chairman of the Student Unification Party, and we are requesting the man or the lawmaker responsible to receive this petition to come forth in demonstration of the value of the people's deputy. We did not send you here to become a master. We sent you here to serve the masses of the Liberian people with the power of the people that gave them in line with Article 1 of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, that inherent power in the people. We are demanding the lawmaker responsible to receive this petition, to come forth and receive this petition from the chairman of the Student Unification Party after he reads it. In so doing, Comrade Baba Wataifa, Field Marshal and Sheikh Khalif, I present you to the masses of the Liberian people and to the 55th National Legislature to present the plight and interest of the people of the Republic of Liberia. Mandat! Mandat! National Tennessee! National Tennessee! Two flags! Yo! Rescue mission! Yo! Rescue legislator! Yo!
Vous voulez tout rouler? Qui a main? Vous voulez tout rouler? Qui a main? Hosi taba taba, hosi do. Hosi taba taba, hosi do. Where were you when I'm down? Where were you when I'm sick? Super ski, Momosa, Kichi, Kichima, Super Konto, Harae, Missionary. Missionary! The indomitable revolutionary Vanguard Unification Party petition for speedy trial of the CDC July 26, 2022 human rights violation and the provision of all mineral concession agreements in Liberia. We present our hopeful but gallant revolutionary salutation in the spirit of social justice, academic freedom, and peace. On July 26, 2022, a group of revolutionary militants and student leaders under the banner of the Student Unification Party assembled on the hill of Benson Street near the American Embassy as a converging point to parade Monrovia in protest of the CDC WIA's bad governance against the Liberian people and the high cost of living in the country. We assemble with a clear intent to protest, knowing and aware that it is our inalienable right as citizens of the Republic of Liberia, in line with Article 17 of the Liberian Constitution and Article 20 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, to assemble and protest when we feel that our rights are being trampled upon. Out of blatant disregard of the Liberian Constitution and global acknowledgeable human rights protocols, and the CDC government unleashed violent brutality through one of its several paramilitary units in the CDC COP on harmless and armless student leaders, and patriotic Liberian citizens who have gone to join the students in the nationalistic cause to stand against the We Are Bad governance. This attack led to the horrific eruption of bloodshed, which got several students injured, and most gruesomely saw the dehumanization of student leader Christopher W. Sidley, an ideologue of the Unification Party. The only crime those students and Liberians committed to be brutally attacked was to stand against wanton corruption, unprecedented administrative ineptitude, secret killings, poverty distribution, and the debasement of the Liberian people into declaratory economic decadence and feculence. It has taken almost 2 years since the occurrence of this terroristic attack on armless and harmless citizens of the Republic of Liberia, of whom were predominantly students and militants of the Unification Party. But the victims of the CDC perpetrated atrocity are living with this dehumanizing and injurious scar without justice, while the perpetrators are masquerading the corridors and the environs of Liberia freely. Nearly 2 years since they faced the country struggle, and 6 months. And 6 months since the inception of the rescue mission, the discharge of justice is still going through the hurdles of lack of political will, even though it was a strong campaign promise by President Bouaka to provide justice and human rights for victims.
Bouaka is a murderer,
Besides the gross human rights abuses mentioned above, our people continue to face state-orchestrated abuses on mines and concession sites, while contractors are left to suffer the consequences of exploitation and abuse. With revolutionary obedience and allegiance to social justice, human dignity, and our endeared patrimony, Liberia, we come here on this day of June 13, AD 2024, to petition you on behalf of our comrades and several victims of state-sponsored abuse and exploitation.
Reactionary tendency. Reactionary tendency. CCCOP. Sabu Unit. Yo.
Whereas the students acted in full compliance of Liberian laws and international best practices to express their displeasure against the government of Liberia in a civil, peaceful, and democratic manner. Whereas the government of the day, the CDC, hired paramilitary thugs to discharge casualty and brutality against armless protesting students
and Liberians with many victims continue to suffer from the injuries of that day. Whereas there were several professional Liberian auditors and noble citizens who died under mysterious circumstances but are yet to receive justice. Whereas the so-called rescue mission of Mr. Boyka promised to bring to book all those suspected of gross human rights violation and the perpetration of violence under the CDC government.
Reactionary tendency! Reactionary tendency! Injustice! Injustice! Say yo! The Fanga Party say no to injustice! Say yo yo!
Down, 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 conspiracy down! Down, 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 conspiracy down!
Reactionary tendency. See Mose. Yo yo. Arrested no one for injustice. Yo. Run down.
Whereas Western Cluster is in gross violation of Chapter 6, Section 6.6 of the Mineral and Development Laws of Liberia, wherein for any mining company to be given the right to operate a mine in Liberia, they must have signed a mineral development agreement with the government of Liberia.
Reactionary tendency. Every snow. Yo, in Prospero, in Legislature, Google's company, Western Cluster, in Bomi County, yo.
Therefore, Western Cluster should be operating in line with an MDA signed with the government of Liberia, but instead, it is acting and functioning with an MOU.
Reactionary tendency! Reactionary tendency! What's that MOU? What's that MOU?
Whereas, under the CDC government, there were numerous attacks against student leaders and critics of the regime that include the July 26, 2022 attack at the U.S. Embassy, the March 31st, 2022, March 31, 2022 attack on the University of Liberia campus, during the occasion marking the memorial service of the late Dr. Amos Sawyer. March 13, 2023, Moses Aka's Gray's violent evasion of the University of Liberia that led to several injuries, damages, and burglary.
Reactionary tendency. Reactionary tendency. Ruthless Gray. Say yo. He is jobless today. Say yo. Yo. Rest in peace, Baba Pra. Yo.
C'est quoi, sous sac, c'est quoi?
So the March 31st, March 13, 2023, Moses Aka's grave violent invasion of the University of Liberia that led to several injuries, damages, and the burglary of the office of the Unification Party and several administrative offices of the Capitol Hills campus. The 2019 violent attack in District 13 and 15 that led to several injuries and damages. Whereas there have been continuous cries by the Liberians in Monrovia and in the Leeward counties on the failure of many concession and mining companies to live up to their NDAs and other basic social responsibilities. Whereas these mining institutions continue to gain from the natural resources of our country and abandon the local communities that is being hugely impacted by the aftermath of the mining activities. Whereas the government of Liberia has used its state security forces to stifle peaceful civilians who have been protesting in the mining areas, of which a recent incident in Kinjor led to the death of a Liberian citizen and several injuries. Whereas there have been countless labor abuses, unjustifiable dismissals, lack of good working conditions, poor health services and insurances, and deliberate failure to empower local Liberians by mining companies and concessionaires.
Reaction now I tend to say. Reaction now I tend to say. Rob Walker, Koyokun, say yo. And I tell you how we can tell what I say yo.
Whereas on June 4, 2024, the bad labor practices and lack of proper mechanism to cater to the welfare and well-being of Liberian mining in the Big Mountain concession site led to the amputation of a young Liberian citizen with no proper reparations. Therefore, the calls on the House of Representatives of the 55th National Legislature to instruct the Ministry of Justice to expeditiously adjudicate and prosecute all those involved and charged for committing gross human rights violations under the XY regime of the gangster CDC, to particularly include the brutality of July 26, 2022, where a decent student leader from a Christopher W. Sidley was beaten and bedraggled in blood, stripped naked, and tortured simply because he had gone to protest against the high cost of living and the harsh economic conditions in the country. Therefore, the Vanguard Unification Party calls on the Liberian legislature to immediately begin the process of reviewing all concession agreements and mining operations in Liberia in an effort to ensure that these concession companies live up to their obligations to the Liberian people. In similar vein, the party cautions the government to take clue from the CDC government when it decided to ignore the cries of the Liberian people, which later culminated in the disgraceful downfall of the CDC regime and the collection of international backlashes against its key actors. The regime of Mr. Bwakai must learn from these licenses of history, and act now to ensure that justice is served and that those accused of crime must face their accusers in court, in a court of competent jurisdiction, so that the law of Liberia can prevail. The Student Unification Party wants to re-echo that we will not rest until the government can bring justice for all the atrocities committed by the CDC bandits. Long live social justice and economic freedom and peace. Long live Massacracy. Long live the Vanguard Unification Party.
The legislature will respect the great people. Yo. Get up, you the breathe, you the share. Yo. We don't want to go in the legislature. Yo. Reaction not tendency.
Petition will be accepted.
So at this moment, in line with Article 1 of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, that deposits power directly in the people of the Republic of Liberia. The chairman of the Vanguard Student Unification Party is calling upon the National Legislature to come and receive the petition of the Student Unification Party. That's only anything to say.
So we want to see if the legislature is going to walk towards the